of Aussie Acres. Here I am at an empty training space. At least I have company. The three boys are here to play with me and help show you some things that you can be working on at home. I hope everybody is well during your self-isolation. It's a little bit hard, but just make a routine for yourselves and for your dogs, and we'll all get through this and be back training before you know it. I'm in the process of getting my yard ready, so moving some of the equipment, and hopefully when things are lifted and we can be together again, then we can hit classes full tilt. All right, so the first thing I thought we would work on was the very first thing I teach in foundation is lining up. I find that many times this gets practiced at the very beginning, but gets overlooked very quickly, and it really shows whether or not your dog understands it when you get to sequencing. So, and being able to line up is really important when you're sequencing, because if your dog is not facing forward, it's hard for him to then move forward and access the jump. So we're going to go over that quickly with a couple different ideas that you can use. Feel free to add your own videos into the group so we can share and explore and comment and give advice and all that kind of thing. So here we go. Let me see. Let's say Solar, come. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Solar's going to volunteer for this one. We worked a lot on this as a puppy. He spent a lot of time at one point facing me to get treats when we were walking outside in the yard. And I quickly decided that I didn't want that behavior. I don't want him facing me. I want him lining up and being having a really strong behavior. So I no longer fed him treats in this position. So what I did was I worked every time he did a recall to me or came for a cookie. He only accessed it when he was in heel position or on side position. And how, really quick review, treat on your puppy's nose, step back to give yourself a longer lever arm for your arm, and pull him in to sit at your side. Okay? I'm going to throw him away, let him come back, step back, and follow the cookie in. Control the cookie if you have to, because we want the dog to sit straight. And they don't get the cookie until they are actually sitting straight. Next thing that you can work on with this one is teaching your dog to touch your hand. So touching your hand, you can touch it with their nose. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. And be willing to, yes. Touch. Yes. Be willing to touch your nose multiple times, still knowing that the cookie is coming. Get off, please. Thank you. Get off. Thank you. Good boy. He does no cookies on me. Yes, he does know the word off. Okay, so when we are at the point where your dog will follow your hand without a cookie in it, this is so important. Luring does not build behavior. I can lure my dog all my day long, and it's not building a behavior, it's just building him following a cookie. But if I want my dog to follow my hand, that makes him work for it. Good boy. And then he gets a cookie for working that hard. So he touches my hand, he touches my hand, he lines up. Good boy. Touches my hand, lines up. Good boy. So hand touch is vitally important for a lot of things, even down the road. So if you haven't worked on that in a while, it's a great thing to add to your foundation day one COVID-19 exercise program. The next thing I did with him once he understood the position is I started adding just a leg clap. I'm not big into clapping on the side of my leg, but it is a physical cue to tell him to line up next to me and get close. So if I tap my leg, okay, get close, get here. And he wants to touch my hand. Good boy, that was awesome. Good boy. We don't tend to do it as much on the right as the left because we do a lot of, when we do healing in obedience, the heel on the left is a little bit stronger. Good boy. But getting your dog to be able to line up right and left is very important. Now I can send my dog forward to an obstacle. At this point, it's going to be a cookie. And I got the worst cookies ever because they don't break. To do better that next time. So he's lined up. He's ready. Sit, sit, sit. Thank you. He's ready to access an obstacle. At this point is a cookie. Get it. Good boy. Good job. Okay. Setting up in heel position or side position at a sit stay is sort of boring for some dogs. Some dogs need movement and they need a quick motion. So we don't always need to set up like that. Sometimes we can send our dogs behind us to make it a little bit quicker, action for them and for us. Because if you have a dog that's not lining up well and you have to spend 5 minutes getting them to line up so you can access the obstacle, not much fun for either one of you. But if you can teach your dog to go around behind you, because you're sending them into a tunnel or just sending them into onto a jump, the sit stay is not that important, then this is very valuable as well. So how you do that? We start with our dog facing us. We're going to have a cookie. We're going to transfer the cookie behind our legs and toss it forward. Very quickly, they figure this one out. Takes you probably maybe 3 times. The cookie in your hand where you're having them pass around behind you has to leave. It's going to be in the new hand because you're going to throw it forward. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to pass my dog behind me, cookie front. Good job, boy. That's good. Pass behind and front. It really takes them about 3 times doing this and they say, got it. Okay, so don't forget to do it on both sides. That was my problem with Sync. I didn't do it on the other side. And I do name this. I call this one the around because for obedience purposes, if I ever do a finish where he has to go into heel position, I use the around cue. For this one, I just say pass. He's ready. So cookie now, because I will start at the beginning on this side. The cookie is on my dog side hand here on this side, left side. Pass it behind me. Toss it forward. Not very good at passing it behind me. You ready? So now it's not in my hand. It's only in my rewarding hand. So I pass. Here it is. And look. Try to be connected with your dog when you're sending them behind you. Don't just turn your head and not pay any attention to what they're doing. Because if we're sending to an obstacle, it will be very valuable to be able to see what they're doing. So pass, see him, I see him, I toss. Okay, good. So now we've done setting up on the right, setting up on the left, passing on the left, passing on the right, and now we are going to talk about setting up between your legs. This is not for everybody. Shall we let Sinky do this? Okay, you go to your box. 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 No, Sinky's turn. Okay, so Sinky loves this. This tells him what we're doing. Dogs look for routine, and when you do things over and over and over again, they can predict what's going to happen, and then they know what they're going to be working on. So if I stand like this, he knows exactly what we're doing. Good job, good boy, good. If I don't stand like this in say in obedience, okay. If I stand like this, and I'm not with my legs apart, synchrony, sync. He knows that he gets beside me. If I stand like this, okay, get ready. He knows he gets between my legs, so we're ready for our lead out. This is what I use for a lead out. So how do we teach that? Okay. Exactly how we did the other pass behind, except for now we're passing between our legs. A little bit easier. Great. Toss. He's a little enthusiastic. Great. Toss. Oh, we got a, what do you call it when somebody drops into a picture. Hey, lay down, lie down, lie down, lie down. Okay. Here's sock may also set up like this. So if I set up like this, can you get ready? Oh, I think he's forgotten. Get it. Good boy. Let's see if he remembers. We'll do a couple. He's got to eat his cookie first. Ready? That's good boy. When they're coming between your legs pretty quickly, on understanding this position, then you can delay the reward and feed them. Good boy. Good. I hope that all makes sense. Okay, so in review, we're doing setups, right side and left side, setting around behind you on both sides, and setting up between your legs. This is for lining up, getting ready to access obstacles, whether from a sit stay, from a start line stay, from just training purposes. You know, you want to have a quick send behind so you don't lose the dog's enthusiasm. Some dogs can be a little bit more flat than others and need a little bit more rev. Sit stays can be sort of boring to them, and they might need a little bit more excitement, so you might do the send behind. So, you know, you have to analyze what works best for your dog and just experiment. You know, some things, some dogs like better than others. Synchrony loves setting up between my legs. He knows what that means. Solar doesn't like the pressure of it, so he sets up on my left side, getting ready for his start line stay in heel position. So that's the difference between them. So next we're going to work, next time I'm going to video, we're going to work on our heel work. I think that's my next thought, and how we can do different things with our heel work, accessing wings and jumps, and a little bit of work on our forward focus. So stay tuned to Aussie Acres Facebook group, and we'll get through this together. So everybody stay healthy, give me feedback. This is my first time videoing myself for the general public. Well, not maybe the general public, but for the my students. So a little awkward, but maybe I'll get better at it and do it more often. So feedback will really help. So stay healthy. I'm thinking of all of you and really missing training and teaching, but I'm here for you if you have any questions. So set up a routine at home, get your dogs thinking and working, and they'll be much better behaved in the long run, so that we can get through this together. All right, that's it. Do you have anything more to say? You have something to say?